Over the past year, I visited 3 world-famous gorilla habitats, and in all 3 zoos, I ran into the exact same, and honestly pretty surprising, scene. The gorillas were sharing their outdoor enclosure with a bunch of tiny monkeys. Yep, the largest primates on Earth, living side by side with animals whose entire body weight probably doesn't even equal one of the gorilla's arms. And the wildest part? It actually works really well. Take this little guy with the electric blue butt cheeks, Hamlin's monkey. At Antwerp Zoo in Belgium, they share the whole outdoor habitat with a full troop of gorillas. They're super cautious though. The second something feels off, they sprint straight across that overhead walkway and disappear into their indoor area. Honestly, who can blame them? When the size gap is that dramatic, staying alert is basically a survival strategy. Things felt pretty different when I got to Prague. In the zoo's DJA reserve, Kisumu's gorilla family lives with a small group of mantled gorillas. These colobus monkeys look way more chill, like they've completely accepted that giant neighbors are just part of the scenery. And in France, at Zoo Parc de Beauval, the common potus monkeys living with the gorillas have even managed to raise babies right inside the shared exhibit. That's actually a big deal. Animals don't usually breed when they're stressed, which means, for these monkeys, having gorillas for roommates isn't torment at all. It's just life as usual. That said, living with animals this massive, incredibly intelligent, and completely unbound by human laws or morals obviously comes with risks. So why do zoos still bother giving gorillas roommates? Simple. The benefits of mixed species exhibits make it totally worth the effort. Gorillas may look like the last animals you'd want as neighbors. A silverback is basically a mobile boulder with muscles. But based on what I've seen in multiple zoos, gorillas are actually pretty gentle for their size. They rarely bother the little monkeys and mostly just ignore them. Which is great news, because it allows zoos to try mixed species exhibits. And once you can mix species safely, the benefits really start to show. They introduce a hint of natural ecology into the enclosure. They make the habitat feel more natural, just like in the wild where primates often share space but mind their own business. For animals as intelligent as gorillas, those quick flashes of movement are far more stimulating than a bunch of stationary climbing logs. Plus, when compatible species live together, the exhibit feels livelier and uses space better. It's good for the animals, good for the visitors, and great for preventing everyone from turning into fluffy couch potatoes. Honestly, it reminds me of my own living situation. Me and my cat, a surprisingly successful example of interspecies cohabitation. But there's one other great ape I've seen in zoos around the world, and for them, things are very, very different. Chimpanzees. I have never, not once, seen chimps housed with any other species. Every time, it's the same setup. A huge exhibit, occupied by a single chimp troop, with absolutely no other species allowed. So here's the big question. If mixed species exhibits are so great, why do chimpanzees never have roommates? How come gorillas can live peacefully with other primates, but chimps absolutely can't? The answer is pretty simple. Even though they're both great apes, their behavior is so different, it's like they evolved on 2 separate planets. Let's start with the biggest thing, aggression. Chimpanzees are dramatically more aggressive than gorillas, and not in a cute, don't touch my snacks way. In the wild, chimps don't just chase off smaller monkeys, they actively hunt them. They eat them. So if you drop a little monkey into a chimp enclosure, well, we all know how that story ends, and it's not pretty. On top of that, chimps are incredibly unpredictable. Their mood can flip fast, and if they feel their resources are threatened, or if they just get overexcited, they can launch an attack instantly. They do this to each other, so imagine what happens to a tiny, defenseless monkey. And then there's their intelligence. Great for problem solving, terrible for mixed exhibits. Chimps can dismantle enrichment items, try to pick locks, and generally attempt to take over the entire space. When a smaller, quicker animal shows up, chimps usually treat it like something that needs discipline, not like a peaceful neighbor. Gorillas, by contrast, are basically chill giants. They're almost entirely herbivorous, rarely go after smaller primates, and really don't like to start trouble. Their movements are slower, their boundaries clearer, and as long as the little monkeys keep a respectful distance, everyone gets along fine. Which is why, in some famous zoos, monkeys can happily share a habitat with gorillas. But chimpanzees? They only live with other chimpanzees. Of course. When zoos pick roommates for their gorillas, they're actually being very strategic. The monkeys need to be fast enough, whether darting through trees or sprinting on the ground, to get out of the way and avoid any direct clashes. Hamlin's monkeys, mantled gorillas, and potus monkeys all fit the bill. Small bodies, chill personalities, and excellent escape skills. They're no threat to the gorillas, and the gorillas can't easily hurt them either. Which is exactly why these three species have become the ideal, safe, low-maintenance roommates for the gentle giants. So, back to the question in the title. Who makes a better roommate, gorillas or chimpanzees? The answer is pretty clear. Gorillas are the quiet, steady giants who basically leave me alone. Chimpanzees? They're the kind of roommate I absolutely do not want to deal with. If I had to pick a roommate, well, I think I'll just stick with my cat.